Hello, I'm here today to show you how to make a mobile. There are two types of mobiles, and they are behind me. We have the original mobile that is closer to the Calder model that is made with rods and aluminum sheet. And this one being a little harder to start working with, we'll turn our attentions more to this kind of mobile, which is without any rods and only links. This one is made out of aluminum as well, but today we'll be working with much easier materials. We'll be working with cardboard, but you can also use plastic, you can use wood, you can use plywood, you can use aluminum, you can use anything you can think of, including paper if you figure out how to reinforce it. The first things we're going to work with is a balancing tool, and this one is very rudimentary, and we'll start making one right now. You take a piece of cardboard like this, which is about 1/8 of an inch thick, and you're going to let it fold in its natural groove, in other words, lengthwise of the undulations there. So we're going to cut a little triangle because we don't want to have it too cumbersome. And this is where you were probably wondering why you wanted 2 thumbtacks in this project. This is where we're going to use them. And if you don't have any thumbtacks, go into your kitchen drawers. There's always thumbtacks. They're sort of lying about, waiting. Okay, so we have 1, and we have 2 here. You notice that I actually went with the first one all the way through, and that gave me my marking for the second one. And now, if we will, we want to have those points pretty much right on each other. Now, once this is done, we'll go in with some tape, and we'll start like this and make sure that it stays in place that way. All right, so now we have a little balancing tool, see? And this we don't need anymore. We're going to start with this recycled box here. This is 1/8 of an inch, and it's the perfect little gauge for what we're going to do. So we're going to start with our first shape in here in the corner, and we're going to proceed to cut it out. And I think I'm going to try this surgical scalpel here in this case, the one I'm the most used to here. So don't try to cut all the way through on the first cut. It's sometimes tempting to try to get it done faster, but it's not necessary. Always cut away from yourself. Don't put your hand in front of the blade coming towards you. In this case, we see that we actually did pretty much go through. So much for my advice. But when you go through again, you'll find that the blade will actually normally follow the path of least resistance and go straight into the groove here. So here's our first shape, and we're going to go on with the second one, which is going to be a little longer, like this. And here we go. And goodness, that's a brand new blade. So here is our first. This will correspond to this part in the bottom of this mobile here. I don't know if you see it well. Everything starts from the bottom in the mobile making. If you were to imagine making a mobile from the top, every time you had a balancing point, you'd have to, every time you added something, you'd have to change every balancing point that was made up. So if you want to have a vision of what happens to naughty people, that's what it is. That's their assignment, make a mobile from the top. In this case, we want to have these spaced just about yay, and we have to find out where the balancing point will be for this particular piece so that it stays in that position. So what we do in this case is we're actually going to use the brand new one. Why not here and see if it works? We might have to tweak it. So, okay, now this is the little delicate part here. So this is about where you want to have your balancing point, and then once you've got it, you just press your little, and I have these little pens here to make it a little wider here. So this is, I got my first balancing point. You might see it more on here. Okay, so, and I position this right here, and I'm going to take the vertical of this point, and I'm going to decide that that's going to articulate right here. This one I don't need to make a balancing point for, since that's a given. Okay, now here. Okay, we also had on our list, we also had these little things here, which are paper clips, or wire. We'll use both so you can see how we can use it. In this case, we're going to see if we have, I have two types of paper clips, but that gives us actually 4 sizes of links. Let's take this one. In this case, we'll just take off a little piece right here, and that will be one of our second size here. So then you thread it this way. And there you go. Now, we got this going. Where's my balancing tool? Here. So, whoop, you see, I'm going to go further up here. So, that's about right. Yeah, it gives me a good line here. Okay. So now, you'll need a little string with a hook to eventually go to the effect and see how it works. Okay, so it's moving. I like it. That's good. Okay, now we have. And I like those paper clips. They're really neat. All right, so in this particular case, we're just going to use this portion here. It would be nice if we could just go and use our drawing, but we'll just have to bring it in a little here. So it's probably going to be like this. And it's going to be like this. And let's just sort of, yeah, that's going to be fine. So here. So you keep your hands out of the path. That's really important. I'm afraid I sort of made the wrong, you can always see when your first line isn't too good that you can always go back and cheat a little. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to articulate this one again against our balancing point, and we're going to choose our tie up right here. And in this case, we might still be able to use one of these guys. And that's what we'll do. And we're going to cut some part of it off right here. Oh. All right, there you go. again. So you're always balancing one object at a time. You only have one balancing point to worry about, and it's the last one on the top here. Now, there we go. All right, so let's see what this gives us. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now in this, at this particular juncture, I would like to point out a couple of things. You notice that the shapes are going bigger. It doesn't have to be that way. You can start with larger shapes at the bottom and go the other way around. But you still need to have a certain rhythm and a certain progression. And I always like to point out the fact that mobiles are very much like music. In other words, they're constructed out of a motive, of a shape, and they use rhythm, and they use numbers. And in this case, for instance, we have 3 pieces, and it's like flower arrangements. It's sometimes nicer to have odd numbers. Don't ask me why. I think it has to do with proportion and all the other stuff. It's a very in this particular juncture, we don't have to go too deeply into numerology or whatever. Now I don't think I'm going to be able to get anything out of this shape, so we're going to have to go to the next here. At this level, I think I want to go in the other direction, and this is a little going all in one direction. I'm going to now go the other way. But I could choose to go directly with a long shape like that, or I could put a little counterpoint here. Now, counterpoint. We've got another musical term here. So you notice I don't have a drawing all the way through. I mean, this is I've been doing this quite some time now. I have this in my mind what I like to do, but you can. Once you know what it's supposed to look like at the end, you can go ahead and make a full drawing before you go any further. Okay, that's going to be my counterpoint here. It's going to be okay, so here we go. Okay, now I don't like this one. I'm going to have to give it a little curve here, and the same here. Okay. So this is going to be another position of given, so to speak. And I'm going to center it right here. Okay. So there's a pin. Well, in this case, I'm seeing I'm going to need something a little longer here. So we're going to use some wire. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. So in this case, you need to massage it a little and straighten it out, because otherwise it puts all sorts of kinks, right? And so here. And then I'll use this little, whatchamacallit, pliers. And I'm going to decide how far I want it right here. And here we go. How to make your own paper clips. Oh, turn it around. Okay, here we go. Okay. So here you leave a little more. So you can have a little threader. That way you can easily go through here. There we go. So then you take that other part off, because if you take it out later, it might put you out of balance. Okay, so now we got it. Okay, now we know the balancing point. It's getting boring, isn't it? I mean, it's just, huh? Okay. So you always add a little last to be able to hang it like this. There you go. So that's how you make a mobile. When it comes to the color schemes, you're on your own. Basically, you can do whatever you want. The things to remember is that water-based paints will warp your cardboard. So it would be better in a way if you can use oil-based, but you can always let them dry and then assemble them later, or make sure that they dry flat once you've already assembled it. That's the lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.